Hey, friends! This time we're taking a look at a sci-fi movie called Lifepod from 1981. This is supposed to be an updated version of a Hitchcock film from 1944, the classic Lifeboat starring Tallulah Bankhead. This movie doesn't quite measure up to that one, though. Our story goes like this. Far in the future of 2191, the Earth has some colonies at Jupiter, and a brand new fancy space liner named the Arcturus is carrying people there. When suddenly the computer declares an emergency and orders everyone to abandon ship. The captain and some others are the last to leave. Presumably, we only see one other pod get away, so who knows what happened to the other passengers? The captain opts to stay aboard and go down with the ship, so to speak. He's kind of a burnt-out cynic, so he stays. There's a crewman, a passenger, a journalist, the creator and owner of the corporation that built the ship, and his assistant. They take the last escape pod in hopes of reaching an industrial platform near one of Jupiter's moons where they can be rescued. Unfortunately, it turns out the computer, the main cerebral, faked the accident. Why it did this and what it's after is revealed as things go along. The captain argues with the computer, trying to figure it all out. Meanwhile, the Lifepod has some mechanical problems, and the people aboard try to cope as best they can. The corporate guy has some secrets that are eventually outed. Joe Penny is our hero, the crewman. He's probably most famous for his work on two shows, Riptide and Jake and the Fat Man, William Conrad's last series. Christine DeBelle is the passenger lady, the sort of love interest for Penny's character. She's the weakest link here, and her character's a little annoying. She started her career in an X-rated movie. That's right. She played the title character in a naughty blue musical version of Alice in Wonderland. Not seen that. Gotta admit, I'm kinda curious. Sounds like a little bit like Flesh Gordon, like a parody kinda thing. She went on to do a lot more legit stuff, and she's had a long run. Still working. Carl Lumbly plays the reporter. He's done a lot of work in his career. You might recognize him as John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, on the recent Supergirl series. He also voiced the character in an animated show, actually a couple animated shows, and he was in Mantis, Easy Streets, LA Law, Cagney and Lacey, just lots of stuff. The sort of bad guy, the corporate dude, he was played by veteran character actor Sandy Kenyon. He appeared in many shows and movies dating back to the 1950s. Jordan Michaels plays the bad guy's corporate assistant. Liked her. She didn't make anything after Lifepod, which is too bad. She's pretty good here. Better than DeBelle, for sure. The voice of Felix, the Lifepod computer, was played by Patty Glick. Her voice kind of reminded me of the computer from Logan's Run. It has a similar sound. I liked it. She also didn't do too much after this, sadly. And finally, we have the voice of the main cerebral, the computer, aboard the Arcturus. His voice is instantly recognizable. He's narrated a lot of things, including the Nova series on public television. He's voiced video games and lots of other stuff. I remember him best from a series he narrated on the Discovery Channel years ago called Movie Magic, where they took you behind the scenes and showed you how they did special effects in the movies. You can find some of those episodes here on YouTube. It was a good show. He brings a sort of HAL 9000 vibe to the computer voice, only with more emotion, more of an edge. So this movie is generally considered to be a turkey, and yeah, it kinda is. It's a low-budget affair for sure, but I do like some of the ideas it brings, and the cast, aside from the one chick there, is really solid. The bridge straight up reminds me of the sets from the 1970s era Doctor Who. Plus, the captain has a British accent, so I was half expecting Tom Baker to pop up somewhere. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. But that having been said, the sets are still serviceable. They're not fancy, but they kinda work. The design of the Arcturus, again, looks kinda like a Doctor Who miniature, but it grew on me. It's different anyway. There are several bad matte shots on the miniatures, but that's to be expected. The director and writer on this were not known as filmmakers. In fact, Lifepod was the director's only directing credit. Instead, the pair were more known for creating the opening credit sequences of many shows that we all know, such as Frasier, Moonlighting, Cheers, and many others. You can see what they were going for. Lifepod has some interesting ideas. As I watched this movie, I kept wondering what could be done if the movie had a remake. Not like they've been doing remakes in the last 10 years or so, but done good. Well, anyway, this one is definitely a product of its time, to be sure, but it wasn't outright crap either. I'm giving Lifepod 1 3/4 paws. It's worth a watch, so long as you know what you're in for. It was sci-fi made on a skimpy budget in 1981. Again, think 70s era Doctor Who, but slower, and the cast makes the movie better than it has a right to be. Otherwise, it'd be only worth maybe one paw. You can watch my review of Robot Jocks here, and down there, you can see more sci-fi movie reviews. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.